Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling completely drained? Like that person just sucked all the energy right out of you? Or maybe you've noticed how you mentally prepare before seeing certain people, rehearsing what you'll say, bracing for their comments, already exhausted before you even meet? I've been there too. That heavy feeling in your chest when their name pops up on your phone. That voice in your head constantly second-guessing, was it really that bad? Maybe I'm overreacting. Here's what I want you to know right now. That discomfort you're feeling, it's not you being too sensitive. It's your inner wisdom trying to get your attention. And let me be clear, feeling drained, confused, or upset after interacting with certain people isn't a sign that you're weak or that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're dealing with something that's out of balance, something that's hurting your well-being. Over the next while, we're going to walk through the different flavors of toxic behavior because they don't all look the same. Why we keep giving chances to people who don't deserve them, how to set boundaries that actually stick, and most importantly, how to find your way back to yourself. This isn't about blaming or hating anyone. It's about learning to protect that precious light inside you because the world needs it too much to let anyone dim it. Toxic people don't come with warning labels. If they were all obvious jerks, this would be so much easier. The truth is, toxicity wears many masks. Let me describe some you might recognize. 1. The drama magnet. Everything is a crisis with these folks. Lost keys, end of the world, mild criticism. They've been betrayed. They live for the gasp, the oh my God, guess what happened to me? And here's the thing, they'll pull you into their tornado of chaos, then blame you when you get dizzy. They're constantly living on high alert, as if the world is one big emergency. Now you might think, well, I just need to show them some empathy. But here's the kicker. No matter how much you care, they'll always need more. The thing is, their drama is never truly about you. It's a way for them to avoid their own pain and project it onto the people around them. If you try to put out their fire, they'll just start another blaze. 2. The backhanded compliment queen. You're so brave to wear that at your age. This is surprisingly good for someone like you. They lace every kindness with poison, leaving you wondering, wait, was that an insult? Now, I don't know about you, but I like a compliment to feel like, well, a compliment. These backhanded remarks aren't just about them being rude. It's about making you feel small without them having to outright attack you. They want to keep you off balance, unsure of your worth. And here's the tough part. You start second-guessing yourself, because if someone says something like that, it must be true, right? You start questioning, did I really do something wrong? When in reality, you're just the target of their insecurity. Toxic people often need to tear others down in order to feel better about themselves. 3. The guilt tripper. I guess I'll just do it myself, like always. Don't worry about me. I'm used to being disappointed. They specialize in making you feel responsible for their happiness while never being happy. And don't you dare think that offering to help will change anything. The guilt tripper thrives on the martyrdom, on being the one who suffers for everyone else. If you're constantly feeling like you owe them something, or like you're never doing enough, it's because they've mastered the art of guilt. And the worst part, the more you give, the more they take, leaving you with nothing for yourself. The nice narcissist. Oh, these are sneaky. They'll do grand gestures very publicly, then hold them over your head forever. Their favorite line, after all I've done for you. Real kindness doesn't keep score. And if you're constantly being reminded of their sacrifices, that's a major red flag. They might even do things for you, but it always comes with a hidden agenda. They'll make sure you know just how much they've helped you and how much you owe them in return. They can't truly give without expecting something back, even if it's just your gratitude and a lot of it. 5. The emotional chameleon. One minute they're your biggest fan, the next they're cutting you down. This hot and cold act keeps you constantly trying to win back their good side. Pro tip: healthy love doesn't have sides. It's exhausting trying to keep up with someone who is constantly changing their emotional state. You don't know whether you're walking on eggshells or dancing on air. They're unpredictable, and it makes you feel like you're constantly playing a guessing game about who they are that day. The common thread: all these types share one thing. They leave you feeling confused, drained, and doubting yourself. If you regularly think, "I don't know why, but I just feel bad around them," trust that feeling. It's trying to tell you something. You don't need to rationalize their behavior. Toxic people have a way of making you question your own emotions. But those feelings, that unease, that discomfort, are your internal compass telling you something is wrong here. Part 2. Why we stay. Here's something I don't want you to ever forget. Staying in a toxic situation doesn't mean you're weak. In fact, it often means you have some of the strongest human qualities: loyalty, hope, the ability to see the good in people. But let's get real about why we hang on when we know better. Reason 1, the maybe if I trap. Maybe if I explain it differently. Maybe if I'm more patient. Maybe if I love them harder. Sound familiar? We convince ourselves it's about finding the right combination of words or actions that will finally make them treat us right. But here's the hard truth. Their behavior isn't about your shortcomings. It's about their limitations. You can't change someone else. No matter how much you try to reason with them or show them love, their toxic behavior is something they need to confront, not something you can fix. And that's a tough pill to swallow, but it's the reality. You can't pour from an empty cup, and if you keep giving without receiving, you'll eventually run dry. Reason 2, the devil you know. Even when it's bad, at least it's familiar. Our brains would often rather stay in predictable misery than face the scary unknown of change. I once heard someone say, people don't resist change, they resist loss. And leaving toxic relationships always involves grieving what we'd hoped they could be. We hold on because we want to believe that things can change, that maybe tomorrow will be different. But the truth is, staying in the familiar is easier than dealing with the uncertainty of what could be, even if that familiar is painful. Reason 3, the identity crisis. When you've been someone's emotional caretaker for years, walking away can feel like abandoning part of yourself. Who are you if you're not the understanding one, the forgiver, the strong one who endures? This is why leaving often feels like losing yourself, because in some ways you are. You're losing the version of you that tolerated too much. You've invested so much of your time and energy into caring for someone else that it's hard to imagine what life would be like without them. But here's the secret. The version of you that's still stuck is not the real you. The real you is the one who chooses peace, the one who knows her worth, the one who can walk away from toxicity and not lose a single piece of herself. The turning point. There comes a day, Tananamashir, and it's different for everyone, when the pain of staying finally outweighs the fear of leaving. For some, it's one cruel comment too many. For others, it's simply waking up tired of their own excuses. That moment is sacred because it's when your self-preservation finally speaks louder than your conditioning. When you reach that point, it's like a weight lifts off your chest. You finally realize that your peace is more important than their approval, that your emotional health is worth protecting. Part 3, boundaries that don't feel mean. Let's talk boundaries. Not the cold, walled-off kind, but the loving, self-respecting kind. Think of them like your personal emotional security system. Level 1, the polite redirect. Great for casual relationships. When they start gossiping, "Oh, I try not to talk about people when they're not here," said with a smile, then immediately changed the subject. No drama, just a gentle course correction. Setting boundaries doesn't have to be confrontational. You can simply steer the conversation in a direction that aligns with your values. Level 2, the compassionate but firm. With closer relationships, I love you, but I can't participate in conversations where we yell, blame, name, call. I'm going to take some space until we can talk calmly. Then actually take the space. Boundaries are about teaching others how to treat you. They can be soft yet firm, a way to protect your peace without being cold. Level 3, the action boundary. When words don't work, actions speak. If someone chronically cancels plans, stop initiating. If they're always negative, keep visits short. You're not making a proclamation. You're adjusting your behavior to match their energy. You don't have to explain yourself endlessly. Your actions will show them where you stand. The magic phrase, when setting boundaries feels scary, remember this. What would I want my best friend to do in this situation? We're often much wiser about protecting others than ourselves. Sometimes we need to treat ourselves the way we would treat the people we care most about. Part 4, finding your way back. After years of walking on eggshells, how do you remember what solid ground feels like? Here's where we begin. Step 1, the who was I. Exercise. Think back to before this relationship. What did you love doing? How did you spend free time? What made you laugh? Do one of those things this week, not because you have time, but because you matter. Reconnecting with the things that used to bring you joy is like rediscovering a lost part of yourself. Step 2, the body knows. Your body remembers what your mind tries to forget. When recalling toxic interactions, notice where you feel tension. Place a hand there and breathe. This simple act begins reclaiming your physical space. Your body is always trying to tell you something. If you listen closely, it will guide you back to your center. Step 3, collect mirrors. Surround yourself with people who reflect your best self. The friend who laughs at your jokes, the coworker who values your ideas. Their reflections help repair your self-image. You need people around you who lift you up, who remind you of your worth when you forget it. Those positive reflections are vital for healing. Your new normal. One morning soon, you'll wake up and realize the knot in your stomach is gone. You're making plans without running them through someone else's filter. You're breathing easier. That lightness, that's you coming home to yourself. You found peace, not in the absence of chaos, but in your ability to stand firm, to hold your ground, and to protect your peace no matter what. Let me know in the comments section if you can relate. What actions are you planning to take or have taken to address the situation? Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share the video with someone who needs some encouragement. Together, let's overpower toxicity with love and joy.